Hello everybody and welcome back to another patch 1.47 episode. I wasn't actually intending to do one. There wasn't anything to do with recording of, and it's Sunday. They usually don't release anything on Sunday. But I was just about to log into the game and I saw this in my newsfeed. In development, B-29 Super Fortress and Flak Panzer 38T Gepard. Yes, they are adding the B-29. I'll quickly show you some better pictures. Now, the B-29, it looks quite detailed. Most of the new aircraft look detailed, but the B-29 especially, because it's actually been done for quite a while. From what I understand, they actually finished it quite a while back. There are pictures from like over a year ago, but it was never added because it was just too overpowered. There weren't aircraft able to deal with it. Now, we don't get much information from the dev blog. We get dimensions and stuff like that, but it does mention excellent flight characteristics, speeds of over 600 kilometers an hour, climb to 9 kilometers in about, I think, 30 minutes. My book actually has it as a max speed of 576 kilometers, so maybe they're rounding up. But it also says it can only get to 6,000 meters in 38 minutes. So maybe it's actually, I don't know where Gaijin have got their stats from. Maybe they're just sort of rounding up or being general about it rather than specific. But so far we can see it's got, quite good flight characteristics, but it also mentions, well, and this is a bit of a downside, able to carry 4,500 pounds worth of bombs over a distance of 4,800 kilometres. Now, I don't know if the 4,500 pounds worth of bombs is the maximum bomb load it's going to have or not. I've actually got in my book that it could carry up to 20,000 pounds, but it doesn't say what distance, so I can't. 4,500 pounds sounds a little less than what I expect. I could be wrong, but maybe they are just using that as an example, and that's not how many it's going to have in the game. Hopefully, it'll have more bombs than that, and hopefully they'll scale the bomb sites and airfields health-wise, so we can, it'll be not too overpowered. Now, the devblog entry doesn't tell us much more information, but from this picture, which is why I've gone back to it, we can glean one bit of information. If you look at the rear turret, you can see two barrels. Now, as far as I can tell, they are 50 caliber machine guns. Well, it's kind of weird. I've heard they could have 3 50 caliber machine guns in the back, or 2 machine guns and a 20mm cannon. But apparently the 20mm cannon was sometimes removed, so it seems they have just gone for the 2 50 caliber machine guns, which is understandable. It's quite a big aircraft, it's already quite overpowered. I've heard of some examples having 4 machine guns in the top front turret, but I zoomed in, I can't see 4 barrels, so I assume they have just gone for like the minimum firepower, which again is understandable because it is quite a powerful aircraft. Now, we're all wondering where it will go in the tech tree. First of all, I don't think it will go in tier 5. I think that is pretty much exclusively jets, so it will have to be tier 4. Above the B-24 for definite. Battle rating wise, well, the B-24 already does beat jets sometimes, so I have a feeling the B-29 is going to have a lot of problems with jets. And it's a powerful aircraft, but against jets, most aircraft are going to be quite useless. So what will its effect be in game? Well, like I said, they didn't add it in for a long time because there wasn't many aircraft able to deal with it. They haven't added that many high-tiered props lately, I don't think. There were those Spitfires and some Japanese aircraft, but it's mainly been high-tier. It's mainly jets that have been added recently. So I think it's probably going to be going against jets. That's the only thing I can think that's been added recently that will make them change their mind about adding it in the game. Unless they're adding something in patch 1.47 that's made them change their minds. It's hard to tell, really. I think it'll be a good aircraft, but I really think they're going to have to up the base health. At the moment, it's easy to destroy bases. The Dornier 217, one of the German bombers, carries something like 4,000 kilograms worth of bombs, and Lancasters can just destroy something like 2 bases in one run. So they're definitely going to have to up the base and airfield health. Otherwise, this is going to be causing lots of problems online. And again, we probably need a bit of clarification of where it's going to be battle rating wise, if it's going to be facing jets or not. I fear it probably will be facing jets, because the B-29 was used in Korea. It wasn't used for long because it was, against jets, but so Gaijin could probably claim it as a Korea War bomber or something like that. maybe it'll get 2 variants with different battle ratings, I don't know, but this is definitely one of the things I'm looking forward to the most in the new tech tree, especially because I will actually be in a position to unlock this aircraft, so definitely looking forward to it, and will be a good addition for the game. But of course, B29 is not the only thing being added. We're also getting the, what's it, I've forgotten the name of it already, Flak Panzer 38T Gepard, I apologise for any pronunciation. Now, I think this is going to be a low-tier aircraft, because it actually says better protection than its predecessor, the Flak Panzer 1. The fact he's comparing it to the Flak Panzer sort of implies to me it's going to be after the Flak Panzer, but not that much. Mentions a major difference is a new turret situated in the rear. The firing position armour plates are reclined, cast armoured hood for the driver, stuff like that, and then just other general information. Try and get a better picture of the tank. I should be getting some pictures now. Now, I haven't actually got that much information on this tank. None of my books particularly mention it in great detail. From what I understand, it has 10 to 15mm of armour, and is armed with a 2cm AA gun, so quite similar to the Flak Panzer 1 that we already have, and could do up to about 26 miles per hour. So straight off the bat, it's pretty much superior to the Flak Panzer 1 in every way. It's got thicker armour. The Flak Panzer 1 only has 13mm around the hull and 7mm all round the turret, and only does up to 19 miles an hour, while the Flak Panzer 38T, 10 to 15mm and 26 miles per hour. Now, of course, the 38T is actually based on the, I'm forgetting the name of it, the Panzer 38T. It was actually a Czech tank, but Germany took them for themselves when they took over Czechoslovakia. Where would it be on the tech tree? The next up from the Flak Panzer is the SDKFZ, with a battle rating of 3. Flak Panzer's battle rating of 1.3. I think it'll be either very low tier 2 or very high tier 1. I can't see it being any higher than the truck version with the 37mm cannon. I think it'd be about battle rating of 2 something, possibly, because it's more well armoured, and it's got the same gun, and it's fast, but it's faster. So yeah, that's probably where it'll be battle rating wise, in my opinion. And will it have much of an effect? I don't think it'll have that much of an effect in game. I very rarely see AA tanks taking down enemy aircraft unless they're, really fast firing the enemy aircraft's really low. I really just use them in realistic if I just happen to have enough spawn points for it, so I can maybe get a very, very lucky kill or some hits to get enough points back. But it's definitely a good addition to the game. No knocking the, not knocking the idea of adding it. Just personally don't find AA tanks that attractive. Those of you who do use AA tanks, leave your own thoughts on it in the comments. You may have different views. Maybe this is something really good for you. But yeah, it's definitely a good addition. Just don't see how useful it's going to be, for me at least. Now, before I end the episode, there's one other thing I want to talk about. As you remember, I did the patch 1.47 roundup episode yesterday, and I forgot to mention about the ground force map changes. So I'll very quickly go over them. Now, for Kuban, they're going to be doing what they've done work to the western part of Kuban, smooth the general topography, resulting in more fluent vehicle travel, and remove the hill in the northwest part of the map, and a ravine that you can cross without having to detour instead. Adding a stone shelter on a hill overlooking the lake, so tanks with high profiles can fight enemies crossing the path and be protected from enemy attacks. Also marked rough slopes with rocks, so you can see steep descents earlier than later. Karelia, the mountain near the northern airfield, has been modified to allow easier access for aircraft to land. I've heard quite a few complaints about some of the airfields being hard to land on, or just having general things you wouldn't have on an airfield, like trees on the runway. So that's definitely a good change. Main focus was to improve the ability for greater variety of tactical manoeuvres. Created a fork in the road in the eastern area of the spawn, and a convenient pathway to the central elevation from the northwestern spawn point. Okay, that's good. I don't know what these effects these changes will actually have, by the way, other than the airfield one so far, because I don't always get on these maps that often. Molstock, changing the topography to achieve a better balance for a variety of game modes, alter the terrain of western central capture point, points used in arcade mode, and southern capture point used in realistic battles. Meant to equalise the chance of a victory for both teams. Doesn't really say what they changed. I assume they've just flattened it a little bit. Eastern Europe. Now this is one that is definitely good for me. Redesigned many areas of the city, added unique areas and squares, and improved performance on the map. I always have a lot of trouble with lag on the city maps especially, so this is very good for me. Yeah, so that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it's a bit rushed. Like I said, I wasn't expecting any of this to come out today, being a Sunday and all that. If you liked the episode, leave a like, subscribe if you like these sorts of videos, leave feedback. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.